We're starting now. Yep, we are
Right.
live-ish.
Cool. Wait,
Okay,
live?
now
Are we actually live? We're not
what was that sandwich again?
Okay, so as a connoisseur of the road burgers, as we are in the reptile community, this is my lovely wife Stacy. I'm Robert. Um, this is Mickey. He is the actual man.
The Mickey.
The Mickey. Yeah. This is not Brandy. That's Brady.
Or anything close to it, I'll answer.
And the entire time I was waiting for sailors to pop out, and then you know Scott. Brandy.
Yes.
Brandy.
Miss Brandy, you're a fine girl. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. All right. Anyway. Okay. So connoisseur of the road burgers, what you're going to do is take two McDoubles, and you're going to lose the bottom halves of both of those because who needs the extra carbs? You're trying to stay healthy. And then you're going to get a hot and spicy. You're going to lose both of those buns because extra carbs again. You're going to put that chicken floating in midair, and then you're going to take the other two McDoubles and you're going to sandwich them. And you're going to make a gangbang, and then you're going to take a barbecue sauce and just like pour it all over. It's called a McGangbang, and you'll be full after. And if you're not, then you'll have a heart attack eating the second.
What is it? Hot and spicy?
This sounds like the best way to start any road trip for a Show Me Show.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, everybody,
Sounds like cardiac
welcome.
arrest.
We are here for the Show Me Reptile Show. Once again, we got Scott and Mickey back. We have Robert and Stacy here from Moss Family Adventures. We want to welcome you guys, give you guys a couple minutes to kind of introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about what you guys do, where you're based out of, and what brings the passion for you in the world of reptiles.
A couple minutes, huh? Okay.
Loaded question.
Or whatever, as much time as you need, or what type of burger you need, or whatever.
So Stacy, you wanna take this, baby?
Go ahead.
Okay. So again, my name's Robert. This is Stacy. Together we are with our children, Aurora and Charlie. We are Moss Family Adventure. We have some partners, Kaylin and Jarrett, who could not be with us today. They might jump on later if y'all are cool with that.
Sure.
Anyway, we focus on. I guess we'll start with what we do. So our main focus is animals that are easy to keep in captivity. So we focus highly on carpet pythons and other Australian species we call them petite pythons, like the Antaresia, the pygmies, the spotteds, children, and what am I missing? Children's, right? Pygmies, Stimson. So
Spotteds, pygmies, and children.
Yep. And then all the species of carpets. And then we do New Caledonian geckos, which I think everybody here can shake their heads and agree New Caledonian geckos are pretty easy. So we focus on them, not just the crested gecko like most. We do gargoyles, and we actually gave a nickname to the Saracenorums, which has caught on and done pretty well. Monitor gecko. If you're familiar with Saracenorums, they kind of look like a tree monitor, and a crested gecko had a baby. Not what happened at all. I would feel really bad for that crested gecko. So we call them monitor geckos.
Monitor was a gecko.
Yeah, the monitor was a gecko.
That's what they look like. So we nicknamed them monitor geckos, and they've done really well as pets. But
Leachianus and
leechies. And,
Urodactyloides, of course.
Yeah, little Urodactyloides.
Yep.
All the New Caledonian stuff, Chihuahuas.
Yep.
Chihuahuas are my favorite.
And this is something that I've recently kind of, because you know how I don't know if it's just me, but as you go through this and, you go into business, you kind of find your way. As long as you, like for me, I just let my passion kind of take the lead and let the people come into my lives and kind of ebbs and flows of the world. And recently, this is kind of stuck in my brain. I'm less a part of the reptile community as I am aimed at the pet industry and pet community, and making that place a more diverse and better educated place to be. So not just dogs, cats, hamsters, birds, fish. I want more people to be educated and have better options with reptiles. At first I was like, I don't know how that sounds coming out of my mouth. And so I called my mentors and I'm like, am I saying and feeling, am I being guided the right way by life? And they're like, yeah, man, I think absolutely. If you're doing it in order to get people better informed. And so, yeah, that's kind of us.
Your passion. Where did it start for you as far as your
passion for me? Like I think for a lot of people in the industry, at like 4 years old, I just remember this ribbon snake crossing my path and just being like, wow, like something about the way it moved, the scales, like dogs no longer did it for me. I needed to touch it. I needed to interact with it. I needed to understand it, which led to a lot of dead ribbon snakes and ice chests, which sucks. But the passion was there, and I just obviously didn't have the mentor. So that is a big part, actually, kind of round circle. My passion is mentoring children, and especially the kids that have parents that want to help and want to be supportive, but just don't know, and honestly don't care to get into it. So a lot of those people allow me to help out with their kids, and I really enjoy that. I really do. Stacy, where did your passion for reptiles begin?
with you? With Robert. Well, when we got together, he already had snakes and stuff, and so I was like, oh, cool. I thought they were cool because I was never allowed to mess with them. My parents were not snake people. So when we got together and I was able to, kind of get to know them and handle them, and then he started bringing me to reptile expos as like a date. Like, let's go to the reptile show.
You want to travel?
Yeah. Let's go on vacation.
Yeah. And then, just from there, we got to hang out with lots of cool animals, and that's where I was introduced to New Caledonian geckos and all that. So we kind of just figured out what we enjoyed keeping as pets, and then it evolved into a full-time business. So
that's awesome, and I've seen that. Obviously, I have not met you in person, but I've checked out the page and saw the displays and talked to Scott, and he said that you guys are essentially exactly what we would wish every vendor to be. That you're engaging, interactive, educational to everybody from the start of the show all the way to the end of the show. So that's awesome, and we welcome that, and we hope you have a lot of friends you can help drag in that lean that same way. And I think it's awesome that you involve the whole family. Scott said you usually have the whole crew at the show.
So Scott knows I'm a titty baby, and now I am tearing up. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
thank you, that means a lot.
That's incredible. That really is. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you for the kind words. Brandy.
Yeah. Report what I see.
Yeah, just tell him the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do our best to be really engaged and interactive with everyone. It's really important to us that people feel welcome when they come in, and that they have an opportunity to learn and ask questions, and that this is a safe space. Like, we want to educate you, we want to help out. And then we're really passionate about the kids, like he was saying, and getting the kids involved. So if we have an opportunity to let a kid hold their first snake, or just give them some fun facts and information, we love to do that. And our kids come sometimes. Our daughter's going to be coming with us now more regularly, and our son will come when he can. So our goal with starting the business was to have something that the kids could grow up in with us. So that's why it's the family. We want it to be a family-oriented adventure, and our kids will be a part of it as they grow up. And not only will they get to learn business, but they'll also be raising animals themselves and doing all those things. So they're going to have their own projects that they're raising up species that they enjoy, and then they get to bring that to the shows and kind of have their own little thing that they like to do represented as well once they get older. So
Charlie is a turtle guy.
Yeah.
I pushed him too young towards snake geckos, and he's like, I'm going to rebel.
Like,
watch
turtles,
this, Dad. You need 8-foot ponds for me now.
He's mad and crazy.
That's diversification, man.
Yes, diversification. That's what we'll call it. Yeah.
It's always fun watching families and children grow in this, though. It's something that I really enjoy.
How many kids do you have, Mickey?
I have 2. They're grown up.
Okay.
But it's fun watching other people's kids grow up in this. I've been around on shows for about 10 years now, and before that I was a vendor at shows. So some of the kids, they're young adults now.
Yeah.
That you kind of just watch grow up in this, and it's always a lot of fun just just seeing that.
Yep.
Yeah, some of them work in your stores now.
Yeah,
We,
I know, right?
we tried to do. The idea was that our entire life would be a tax write-off. So, that's why we picked Moss Family Adventure instead of exotics or reptiles or anything like that.
Well, that way it can always be adaptable. If we ever decide to evolve, it can kind of incorporate anything that we or the kids in the future would want to do.
Like Stacy, we're working on crystals and everything for the metaphysical.
Yeah, we can bring some crystals in and do some of that too.
So I need a little bit more space, Scott. Just a little.
Man, the gecko room is only so big, man.
We'll stick
I'm just have
Stacy
to.
outside and help her. She'll sell tickets. It'll be like,
right by the front desk.
yeah. Can we do like
Check-in?
bikini and crystal?
No, that's
Okay.
not an option.
Okay,
We're not
got
gonna
it.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned like the welcoming people in and making sure that they felt welcome and comfortable asking the questions. Just 2 episodes ago, we did the whole episode on essentially "Don't be a dick" about how much negativity and how many times people go to comment on something online in a forum or Facebook post and just get absolutely creamed by the people who've been in the reptile hobby for too long and have become bitter. So that's awesome that you guys actually work towards that and making sure that they feel welcome. That's a big thing for Mickey is the positivity and growing the community. Not just selling reptiles, but bringing people into the fold and letting them feel like they're a part of something.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, it's great because Moss Family only does our one show for right now. It's our Jacksonville, Arkansas show. Anyone's been there, they know there's 2 rooms. There's a small room, there's a larger room. And everyone wants to slit my throat if I try to put them in the smaller room. They think they're getting shortchanged or whatever. It's been a war. Moss Family went in there and just took the room over. It's now their room, but it's the first room you walk into it in the show. So we open doors to general admission, and I walk in the main room, and there's like 3 customers in there. And you walk in the little room, the gecko room now, and it's packed. And it's wall to wall, and everyone's crowded around Moss Family's table.
And now everybody wants to be inside the little room.
Uh-huh.
Scott's going to pull me out and put me on the stage in the back.
I mean, if you need more space, I mean, I don't have any options.
That's coming. I get it.
We got to take over the gymnasium there.
Yes. Yeah, that's what we were really expecting. Then we can take up the whole gym. That'd be great.
We do stay really engaged the whole time because we've got Robert and I are usually on the snake side doing the carpets, and we've got Kaylin and Jarrett on the other side doing the geckos. So they're handling and educating about geckos, and we're on the other side doing snakes. And then, usually if we have extra help or there's someone in the middle or either, one of us is going back and forth, we've always got kind of all the ground covered. So we're always like ready to help wherever we can and talk to people. So,
which I guess I can speak on that actually. So doing the Arkansas show with you guys, for those people who just don't want to take a chance and go a little bit further out, I would say go. You're not only going to get a different market and new people that have never seen you, but also there's other vendors and like-minded people that you might run into, like literally because of your show, Mickey, because of what Scott has done, because of what y'all have done together. And Brandy, I'm sure you're doing something behind the scenes. So because of what y'all have done, we were able to actually find these people who came in to join us. And, she's Kaylin.
Okay,
yeah,
I was very confused
literally,
for a second.
sorry, they were there. She was Gecko Fancy. And we kind of merged companies. She kind of absorbed into us because Stacy, my lovely wife, as a supporting role, we were getting into this originally with just carpets. And we realized really quickly that not every parent, is okay with jumping from no reptiles to snake. There needs to be that in between for a lot of parents to get over.
Gateway reptile.
Gateway. Thank you. That's Gateway Reptile. Here, it's about 20 grams. Start out here, and then by the time it's 40 something, you'll be ready for a snake. But at any rate, so I asked her. I said, "Look, give me 3 to 5 years. I need you to do geckos. I need you to full on do geckos." And really, I tried to say 5 to 10 years, and she was like, no. So, and then she would be able to incorporate crystals and stuff like that. Well, that was fast tracked because we've been in business a little over 3 years now. But that was fast tracked whenever Kaylin and Jarrett walked into our life, because Kaylin is as passionate about geckos as I am carpet pythons. So together, whenever people walk up, you're gonna get pumped with passion. Like it's gonna happen.
On one side of the table or another, it's either geckos.
I'm gonna put that on a T-shirt. Pumped with passion.
Pumped with passion. Either geckos or snakes. It's
if you could put like a pinky pump, you know, the little yeah.
Yeah, but we met Kaylin and Jarrett at that show in Jacksonville, because that's where they live, and we met them there, and we just instantly were like, we were meant to be together.
The next show, we did like another show in Salt Lake City, Utah, and we drove from Lake Charles, Louisiana, all the way there. It was 24 hours, and it was our longest trip, other than Tinley, which is about the same.
Yes.
So she actually got on a plane. Kaylin did in her own fruition, and was like, "Hi guys, let's sell some geckos." And I'm like, "All right."
I was like, "I'll fly to Salt Lake City to meet y'all if you can pick me up from the airport." And we were like, "All right, bet." So she flew to Salt Lake City, and we picked her up, and she came to help us vend the expo, and we were just like, "Okay, yeah, we're gonna be partners." Like this is.
It was incredible.
We love them. They're great.
So anyway,
yeah. Kaylin is one of the most interesting people on the planet.
Yeah.
Kaylin? Oh yeah.
Yes. I can listen to her talk about her life all day. Yeah.
Jarrett's no slouch. I'm letting you know, if you need a fancy flashlight, that is the dude. I'll talk to you.
No, we compare flashlights at the show.
Oh.
We're both flashlight people. Yeah.
That's a flashlight guy, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep. What is it? It's not even a flashlight. It's just a non-focused laser.
Can you lift this up for me?
Yeah. Wait, you want to do this up? Okay. Sorry, everybody. We're going to technical difficulties.
I just wanted this to be a little bit higher. There we go.
All right.
Better.
Much better?
How's that?
Much better.
See?
Good.
I knew.
All right, this is the part where Stacy takes over.
Why am I taking over? I just thought this looked better, and it does. So, boom.
Okay.
What you want to talk about?
What is y'all's take on reptile community or did y'all have a topic that y'all wanted to talk about?
No, we've talked about whatever.
Okay, so this is something that recently is getting called to me. Yeah, I don't know.
What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say, what's y'all's opinion on the reptile community regulating itself versus waiting until something happens and then letting government step in and make laws, abstract laws that seemingly have nothing to do with actual facts and everything about a politician just wanting to get something pushed?
We're big on self-regulation. That's part of the reason why I started this company. Is I got tired of seeing dead animals on tables at reptile shows.
Okay.
Because that's kind of the first impression that people get of our community is when they walk into a reptile show.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm about it. It just needs to be done in a responsible manner. I don't really support people dragging people through the mud on the internet and stuff like that. But I do think that self-regulated community is a lot better than letting people that know nothing about it make rules and laws about it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, so I've got a question about, and this is something that I got into and then immediately got out because I'm what's the worst that could happen? Can I mitigate past that? If I can, great. If I can't, then maybe I need to look at a different avenue. So I'm going to ask you about something that I don't do, but I did briefly. And then I want y'all's opinion. And maybe I can start with a scenario. So we're familiar with hognose, yeah? Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter the species, hognose. So Louisiana state law says that, and this is just here, that they are not considered venomous by a permit standpoint. Okay, not venomous by a permit standpoint. So, meaning you do not have to have a permit. Not meaning that they're not venomous. It means that by a permit standpoint, you don't have to. And they say because there's no danger to a human. However, I have been at shows where that someone's been envenomated 2 separate times at the same show with reactions leading to hospitalization on one, not like overnight, but like treatment, right? And then swollen, bubbly hand on the other. Okay, so here's the scenario, and you make a case, please, because then I'll get back into them. If somebody can beat this case, okay? So, Miss Smith and little Susie, right? Mom and daughter go into your reptile show where you're in a county that does not allow hot shows. So you're advertising as a no hot show, which no hot means
No venomous.
okay, cool. That for the people in the back. So no venomous snakes. However, Miss Smith comes in and she talks to me. And I'm talking to her about carpets and petite pythons. And I let her know, hey, look, if it bites you, because that does happen, especially with hatchlings, don't freak out. I always tell them, look, if you allow little Susie to play with a cat, she is in more danger than this hatchling carpet python, right? Because bacteria, cat scratch fever is not just an old rock song. So I tell her, don't freak out. It'll let go. It might be a feeding response. You know, if it just nips, everything's fine. Make sure, worst case, make sure there's no teeth left in you. Cool? All right. So then little Susie, you know, they leave from my table. They kind of go to see the rest, you know, the whole Be Back Club. And they walk around, and little Susie says, oh, Mommy, look, it's the one that lady on YouTube was talking about. Look at it. It's cute little nose. And I'm not going to mention any names. Look, it's cute little nose. I got to have it, Mommy. And then she says, well, Miss Smith's an educated woman. We're at a non-venomous show. Don't need to ask that question. He just said that it's like a bee sting. Because how many vendors say it's comparable to a bee sting? She's thinking in pain, right? Like, that's how much pain it is. Okay, cool. So she's like, you know what? For little Susie, her first snake, and it's such an adorable little snake, because they are cute, we're going to go ahead and get it. She then gets home. The snake bites her. Now, customers will remember one thing from one vendor, one thing from another, and she remembers me saying, don't freak out. She's in more danger. However, this is a hognose, and it's now bit her, and it doesn't need to act. And people say, oh, they have to chew on you. They've evolved for a very long time. They don't ask the frog, hey, Mr. Frog, can you just hold still so I can get these rear fangs on you? No, they know how to inject, like how to actually scratch you pretty quick. So, and even then, an open wound, can't they be envenomated that way? Regardless.
Yeah, it's in there. Yeah.
It's the saliva thing, right? Their venom glands are in their saliva glands, and the thing happens. So, from what I understand, I am no scientist at all. Again, pet industry, not reptile. So, so anyway, that happens. Little Susie is envenomated. Little Susie's allergic to that specific venom. In walks the lawyer. The state might be in trouble because they allowed it and they regulated it and they put in their actual regulation that it is not harmful to humans for whatever reason. You're in trouble because you said, or he's going, I'm not saying that you're in trouble. I'm saying that potentially you would be because you said this is a non-venomous show and there is a venomous snake there. And then the vendor who sold it is in trouble as well. By the way, I don't sell them, but I'm in trouble too because now my hobby is going to get regulated by some politician because of neglect on, I feel, our end as a whole community. Can you defend? And then the lawyer, all that he has to say is the snake venomous? Yes or no? Because that is the question that gets everybody tripping. And then whenever they do that, the ones that I feel confident about are the vendors that are like, yes, absolutely. But the ones that scare the hell out of me are the ones that are like, not really. No. Are they venomous or are they not? And
They're 100% venomous.
Okay.
And
I'll let you defend that.
I mean, there's really no defending it. I mean, honestly, the seller should say something. Anytime we deal with anything that's rear fanged venomous, we always caution people, even with hog noses or whatever, because you don't know how somebody's body's going to react to that venom. They could go into the anaphylactic shock. Everybody's reaction is going to be different. It could kill somebody. And it is a venomous animal.
And the more that get out there, oh, it's not happened in 100 years though, Mickey. Yeah, but they've not been this wildly popular for that long either.
Well, so I keep a lot of venomous stuff. I've got like coral cobras, the little spittle and stuff like that. There's no recorded human deaths with those, but that doesn't mean that I want to get bit by the damn thing.
But also, you're talking about cobras, where very clearly here is red tape around the cup, like versus this is just a hog nose at a non-venomous show.
I really feel like there should be some kind of disclosure with those whenever they're being sold. I know up at our Rhode Island store, whenever we sell hog noses, they go through the whole spiel about it's venomous. It's a rear-fanged venomous snake.
The same as if you were selling a cobra.
Not as in depth, but yeah, there's more ground that's covered with the sale of that over a ball python or a corn snake.
Yeah, I think the responsible vendor needs to put that disclaimer out there at least, even though the reaction tends to be mild in almost everybody who has that bite. You just never know. I mean, it's the same as the bee sting. There are people who will die from a bee sting, where most of us just have a sore hand for a minute.
I'm not saying that she's going to die. I'm saying that she's going to have a reaction to the venom.
Right.
Well, any kind of reaction
is venom at a non-hot show.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying there too, and yeah, that's a tricky one because there's really no way to defend that. Because if the state classifies it as a non-venomous snake, but clearly people that keep it know that it's a venomous snake.
Self-regulation.
Right.
That's the thing that nobody wants to actually self-regulate. If it's a non-hot show, this is just my opinion, then there should be no venomous animals there. That's, again, not medically significant venom, like not just no venomous snakes. Like it's that simple.
Yeah.
Like my daughter, I'm okay with messing with all these other snakes. I'm not okay with her messing with a hognose. Me personally, as a parent, knowing what I know. And there's so many people who are going in to buy hognose that I'm like, okay, just make sure that you know that they are They're venomous. While it's not medically significant, it is venomous. Whenever they say a bee sting, they don't mean like in pain. They mean the venom is similar to, even though it's not the same venom as a bee sting, from what I understand. And then there's so many parents that are like, oh, what? So they've gotten to the point of purchasing one without even knowing. That's scary.
Yeah, one of the last little get-togethers, like I was at one of my friends' camping. He's like, "Hey, so my friend bought this little snake. It's the goofy face one. They said it's technically venomous. What do they mean technically venomous?" And I was like, "Well, there is no technically. It is venomous, but it's what they call rear fang venomous." Had to explain that whole process. I ended up having a whole crowd of people around me by the time the conversation was over with because it was just the fascinating nature guys now talking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had to go through that whole explanation. So it's just educating people, which I think most vendors and promoters want to do. If I see one being sold on the floor, especially to like someone younger, I try to make that point, like, oh, hey, a hog nose, cool. You guys know about the venom on those and like all that kind of stuff.
Don't let it bite you.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of the things that I'd say is a perfect example of what I mean about like us self-regulating ourselves. And then who? I mean, Mickey, you're one of the biggest guys in the reptile community. Like, you should have the answer, sir, right? Like, we come to you, oh mighty Mickey.
Don't do that.
I mean, like, who do you get together with the other cabal and like decide in dark rooms what is push? Reptiles After Dark. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Is that what it's for now?
That's what it was really for now.
Yeah. No, we all kind of just make up our own rules in each little area, because a lot of the people can't seem to cooperate on the top end of the reptile community. So
You want to come peek in and say hi real quick and then go back to your room?
Hi.
hello.
Hi.
Hey, Aurora.
So Aurora is in training. You want to say hi to everybody?
Real quick. Go.
Hi.
Okay,
All
bye
right.
bye.
The future.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bye bye.
Bye.
So Charlie is destined for behind the scenes work, and Aurora.
He's our introvert and she's our extrovert. So
yes.
we've got Charlie who's going to be like the builder and things. You know, he likes making terrariums and bioactives and stuff. And Aurora's the one that likes to be on camera, like, or in front of the crowd at the, educational thing, like, here's my snake.
So we actually did Shreveport. What was that? 2 days ago, guys.
Yeah.
And so Charlie's like handing us animals behind the scenes,
And then
putting them back
putting
up.
them up.
And Aurora's like walking around with her carpet, letting all the kids play with it and stuff. So it was we actually had just partnered with the Shreveport Aquarium. So Charlie's going to do a project with Pink Belly Side Neck there. We've got some carpets over there and some monitor geckos, the Saracenorum, that they'll be breeding.
Super cool.
It's very cool aquarium, by the way. They've got some new people that came in for behind the scenes and are revamping everything, and it's really worth stopping by. Really cool.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out time we're in the area.
Okay.
Yes, and we had an opportunity to do a little educational thing for a group of kids there, so we got to show them our carpets and our geckos. So that was neat.
Yeah, that's super
Go back
fun.
to your rooms. Go back to your room.
Yeah. I saw that pop up on Facebook, and I was like, "Those are my people, just out there spreading the love."
Yes. Yeah. Tuesdays and Wednesdays are our weekends, because we do 3 shows a month, typically, or we try our best to do that many. Any more than that, and we found that just having those 2 weeks off for the animals to kind of have a rest has proven positive. Stacy says the animals shit. She needs a break. But,
Well, you guys need a break too. Being on the road every weekend is horrible. I think I went for a couple of years with no weekends off on the road. It was rough.
But look at you now, sitting on your throne of reptiles after dark.
Yeah.
Calls.
Yeah, starting this weekend, we have a stretch of seven expos back to back, 7 weekends in a row straight.
Whew.
So yeah, woohoo! Here we go.
That's my winner.
Yeah, I did 3 shows a weekend for 5 years.
Yeah, I think I had a weekend where I did 3 shows. I went and set one up on Friday. I drove somewhere else and did one on Saturday. And I drove somewhere else and did one on Sunday.
So December 7th, I think, is Arkansas for y'all.
Uh-huh.
We will also be in Houston, and we will also be in Austin. So that'll be our first 3-show weekend.
That's our first time splitting up that much.
Yeah. But we'll have practice before for a 2-show split, so that's cool.
So who am I getting in Arkansas then?
Kaylin lives 15 minutes away, so Kaylin and Jared.
Makes sense.
Yeah, we'll have them with a couple pythons and stuff for those people. I really love the community up in Arkansas. I love the community everywhere, but Arkansas's, especially with what happened our first show, that was incredible to see the community come together in that way and be supportive.
Great.
Yeah, everybody.
Them.
Yeah,
Arkansas does have a really great community. They're awesome. Everyone knows each other. They all hang out. They all talk. They all joke. They all laugh. There's no undercutting and shit talking. It's a really great community. That's why I do that show all the time.
I mean, except for me and ball pythons, but that's just my vendetta because of what happened whenever I was 8. So, and it's not really we've talked about this so many times, Scott. It's not really shit talking as much as it is illuminating the reality of the potential reality of owning a ball.
Yeah, we share that. I have a ball python. It's the longest reptile I've owned. But is it an interesting pet? Not particularly.
Has it ever gone on a hunger strike?
Yes, for almost a year.
Yeah, And if you only have one pet and it's your first pet, then mommy and daddy assuredly will tell you reptiles are too hard, so you are not allowed to have snakes anymore. Which, in
Hmm.
hindsight, has led me to my addiction. I mean, my business now. So yeah, it's
Call it what it is. It's an
yeah.
addiction.
He's just smart enough to figure out how to turn his addiction into a business.
It's a passion.
Well, you chose the word addiction. I'm just using your word.
It slipped. I don't.
Over there getting high on your own supply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's already getting itchy.
Did you say that you had a pair of jungles? What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's accurate.
Yep, that is very.
Arkansas is a cool market. We worked with the state of Arkansas. I feel like it was probably 18 months to actually get reptile shows back into that state. They had they had all kinds of crazy laws up there about it and stuff. The whole whitelist and everything.
So it was basically you can only have the reptiles on this list.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was a whole.
I would love to
mess.
know the guy that put that list together.
Oh, Kaylin probably does.
Kaylin probably does and has had strong words.
She is up their ass. She is watching them cut like a hawk.
The state herpetologist up there is actually he's a reptile guy. He's actually really cool, and I remember talking to him about some of the animals on the white list, and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. And I don't know, it's what they wanted. Like, okay, fair enough.
Yep.
It's like, dude,
no
I'm not collect my government paycheck.
It's the only state I know of you can't have Pac-Man frogs.
Well, yeah, but wasn't that because some amphibian like pond that got like something from one or something like that?
But it's weird because their restrictions are only against like bullfrogs and everything in the bullfrog family. They just said no bullfrogs. It's like pixie frogs, Pac-Man frogs, all that stuff is out.
I still don't understand the large constrictor rule down there. I can't get any clarification on it because I suggested that they add they add the large constrictor to the venomous permit, and people have to adhere to those rules.
Yeah,
and they just in one year and out the other. I'm like, well, you'd sell more permits, and they didn't care.
Yeah, that seems to be what they did in Louisiana. They did try to crack down
on rats
on a lot more species here recently, and I think that we got that tabled. I think that's the right term. So to check market research instead of just again shooting in the dark like they do.
It's nuts because I don't think a lot of people that are like keeping reptiles and like vending shows and stuff like that, I don't think they pay too much attention to the reality of how fragile our hobby is and why it's so important that we grow it. That's part of the reason why we do what we do. Is we want to grow this industry so much that we actually have a voice whenever these guys are trying to write stupid laws. Because how terrible it would be if the state that you lived in said, you know what, Robert, starting next week, you can't have none of your snakes. How would you feel about that?
Right.
But not everybody has that option, So I mean, I wouldn't want other people to feel like that. So I mean, the goal is to just grow our industry so much that we have a bigger voice.
So
whenever it comes to that kind of stuff,
with a bigger voice and bigger, doesn't that come like the nail that sticks out the most usually gets hammered? Because I mean, it's not like we're going to be tobacco industry big.
Oh no, we'll never be tobacco industry big, but there's a lot of other animal industries that have a voice in politics.
Yeah.
Like up here in Missouri, we have the Missouri Pet Breeders Association and the cattlemen and stuff like that. Like, we're an actual industry, and at some point we actually have to start acting like one.
So where do I get, like, can I actually go and speak and do those things? Hey, Aurora, do you remember we talked about this before we got on?
Well,
hey, Aurora.
The children childrening.
One second. Hey, do you remember what tonight is? Is tonight payday?
Yeah.
What did I tell you if you interrupted? What would happen to your pay? You won't
That's
get
parenting
paid.
right there.
Still want to get paid?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you want one more chance? Okay.
Daddy doesn't give second chance. Okay. This is it. All right. Do you understand? Now,
You too.
thank you.
All
Okay.
right.
Thank you both. Who says money's not a good motivator? But
Always
they
work.
had to. But
Nobody.
they had to work.
Nobody.
But they had to work for it. All right. They had to
Uh-huh.
work all week,
They have
and
jobs.
then yeah.
They
So
do work.
so Charlie, and yes, this actually came from my own selfish wanting to use some of his room for the animals that go to shows, so that they could be separated from everything else.
Quarantine.
So yeah, show quarantine. So I was like, how could I make this a father, like parenting, like how could I give this as a lesson? So I'm like, look, Charlie, you don't want to take care of snakes and geckos unless you choose to. So you don't want that as a job like Aurora. So how about this? You have inherited real estate from me and Mayor, and it is your bedroom. So if you keep your real estate clean, then renters like me could maybe use a tabletop. So we do per square foot of tabletop is $1. So right now I have to pay him $11 a week to keep the animals in there. If he decides to clean them that week, then he gets an extra dollar per square foot that he cleans. So it's teaching him that, look, you won't get as much money if you don't work, but if you have real estate, it's passive income. It's going to come to you as long as you keep. And dude, he's eating it up. He's like, yeah, I'm in real estate. I'm in real estate.
It's like my dad rents space in my bedroom.
That is fantastic. That's parenting 101 right there.
So Aurora's like, well, I want to work and have real estate. And I was like, Aurora, if a gecko jumps out of the box and you have way too many Barbie cars, I would never be able to find it. So you'd have to
Too
clear.
many toys in there for geckos.
But yeah. So any tips with parenting, I will always take and appreciate.
Sounds like you got it under control.
I
Yeah,
appreciate.
you guys can write a little book. Let me read that one.
Yeah, yeah. But no, it's I don't know. As far as getting into the shows, I will say that whenever we first started, how was it whenever you started, Mickey? As far as like you weren't in the club for a while, like people kind of.
I've never been in the club, buddy.
You see again the Reptiles After Dark room that you just made your own club.
Yep. Always just made my own club.
Okay. So is that what it was? But again, people started to get attracted to that because of your success, I would imagine. Sexual favors. I don't know what you did to
Sexual
get
favors.
people. Okay, that makes it. It's the cute cheeks. I think that's it.
Like a chipmunk.
That was what was it earlier? The pumped with pleasure thing, I think.
Cute cheeks and sore knees.
I pumped him with passion.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Can it be a hot pink shirt? That's all that I'll ask. No, is there anything else that y'all wanted to get out there, or is there anything else that we missed, or any wisdom that y'all have to share with us?
I would say, what is it? What is it that drew you to the carpets and to the species that you keep? And like, if I was coming to your table as a beginner, what are you going to tell me that makes them a great species for me to consider?
Ooh, you just opened a whole can of worms.
We're gonna need 30 more minutes for this podcast, at least.
Have you ever kept a carpet yourself, Brady?
Nope, I have not.
Okay, so we're gonna fix that.
He'll do it.
There's a hole in your heart that you have never realized was there, but after this conversation, you're gonna feel something that maybe before you didn't know. Have you ever kept a retic?
No, nothing.
Okay.
Nothing gigantic.
Okay, so my favorite snake was a retic. I got 3 I always tell people I only got one because try to keep a little bit responsible. I'm irresponsible. Whenever I was 17, yeah. So I got three. It was a tick with like an. I thought, and to tell you my ignorance, whenever I first got these reticks, wow, you just came up to my table and I'm telling you about getting a sick retic. Hang on, let's back up. Well, let me just shoot. Let me shoot you real quick, and then I'll tell you the backstory. So, hey, hi, how you doing? Hope that you're enjoying your show. So we offer the best pet snake in the world, in my opinion. Here's the reason why. Their personality, first and foremost, okay, because you get an animal that will actually look back at you, seemingly. So that intelligence level and that bonding, um, they require little to no humidity. I have not checked humidity in over 10 years, and I have never had a bad shed to this day. They eat. They actually eat their frozen thawed food, whether it be chicks, quail, chicken chicks, rats, mice. If it is on the end of silver tongs, there is a high probability that the carpet will put it down its neck. So that being said, they're not picky eaters. So they're great eaters. They have perfect sheds with little to no humidity. Easy to care for, and they are actually going to be out and about. Scott, I will talk to you about how you keep your carpet, and we will get that thing out, but she is still a baby. But they're not going to hide all the time. They're going to be out and about. They're active. They're both, but not overly active. So I really like the idea of rat snakes because I was like, look, I could add this to the table, and these guys could be. But the problem with it's not a problem. The opportunity that's missed with a rat snake is that they can be flighty. They can be very gotta go. So with carpets, they'd much rather hang on to you and hold on to you than try to get away. So then they're not enormous snakes. They're large enough to be impressive, but not too large to be unhandleable. Right? With boas, I love red tails. That was one of my first loves as well. But once she got so big, I had to do the whole boa treadmill, where you're keeping it off the ground because they do get terrestrial with age.
Yeah,
These
same way. Even
guys,
though mine have never bitten me, but when I have an 8 foot boa, I don't take her out if nobody else is at least around, just in case.
oh,
know?
okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
because
I'm a bit
she's strong.
irresponsible. I would try to take that thing out, but
Yeah, I mean, she's strong. She's never bitten me, but
you look like a
the
strong dude.
the last thing I want to do is to find out what it feels like if she wraps around my neck and no one's home.
Right.
Yes, and that goes to what y'all are preaching as far as safety in the community.
Yeah.
And you're right. An 8 foot boa is that big around.
And it's pure muscle. I mean, it's
yeah. So okay.
I was just gonna say with carpets, one thing that we say a lot is like you get the personality and intelligence of a retic, like similar to that retic personality and awareness, but it's like in a pint size, like a much more manageable size. With carpets, and then even if they get so they average 5 to 6 feet. Some of them get 7, have the potential 7, 8. But even at that size, they don't get chunky and thick or girthy. They stay slender because of that arborealness. So you've got a 5 to 6 foot snake that's still slender, that's still super manageable size, but you get so much intelligence and curiosity too.
And then their ontogenetic change is not to their fault. It gets better with age. Imagine that, ball python world. This little tiny ugly noodle that is seemingly impossible to sell, so everybody says. Like these carpets, you get this ugly duckling for the first year, right? But then for the next 30, it just gets better. So, okay. They're letting me know that there is a morning gecko. I want to let everybody in the world know that my kids have found a morning gecko loose in our house. If you do not know what morning geckos are, they're parthenogenic geckos that reproduce like no one's business. Okay, let me go catch it real quick. All right, who has it? I'll be back.
So
So they're just incredible animals. There's not much that. Oh, he was talking about the color thing. Yeah, so it's opposite where like when balls start out the brightest they'll ever be when they're born, and then they dull out with age.
Yep.
Carpets start out dull as a natural camouflage for Australia because everything eats them, right? You don't want to see a neon yellow, black and yellow snake on the ground. Everything would see it.
Right.
It'd be bird food.
Start out dull, right, and then they go through their ontogenetic color change, and they get brighter as they get older. So they do just get prettier. It's cool because you kind of don't know what you're going to get. Like, not all of them turn out that bright. Some of them do. It's kind of like a surprise to see like how their color changes as they grow.
It is the best and worst part about selling carpets. I will sell one where I'm like, yeah, I got it figured out. I'm gonna hold this one back, and then and it's not that this one gets ugly. It's that this ugly one surpasses this one, and it's like, but wait.
Do you feel like you've gotten to be a better judge of it, of like looking at them as babies and have a better idea how they're going to turn out, or is it really just a crapshoot?
Do I feel like I've gotten better? Yes, I feel that way. But do animals constantly let me know that they are in control, not me? Absolutely. But I feel like I've gotten better.
Yeah, sometimes when you see a hatchling a couple years later, it's like,
yeah! I was like, you know what? I've got 2 for that one. You want to take
I'll
these?
trade you.
Because apparently whatever's in your water, it's, yes, it is quite a bit. Now, so I will hold, like I've got, how many holdbacks?
We have a lot of holdbacks.
80? We've got 80 something like
Hey,
80.
there's nothing wrong with that either. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
You see, look, it's fun. It's fun.
the addictiveness is going.
He's like, they're justifying it. Okay, I feel
It's
better.
all fine.
Yes.
80, 100, 200, it's good. Let's keep all.
Carpet pythons for sale? No, I have morning geckos. Charlie, by the way, just now was like, hey, Dad, I think it'd be a good idea. We could just put cups around the house, and we could just have morning geckos. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. No. I mean, that does sound cool. No.
So the poop's all over your wall.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, the little poops.
They will inevitably escape the enclosure, which is the home, and then we'll have South Florida on our hands, I would imagine, in no time. But yeah, still like morning geckos. I tell everybody that they are aquarium geckos. They are fish geckos. You look at them.
Look, don't touch.
Yeah.
They are beautiful. They are absolutely beautiful.
I don't know if y'all agree with that or not. Sorry, I don't mean to dissuade any customers from them.
I breed some. They're cool.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome. I did not know because I bought some from a lady, my first ones, and she was like, "Yeah, there's like 18 or 58 in there. I don't know." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." So take my money. And then Kaylin, who's our partner, she's like, catch some.
Come here.
She's like, what types do you have? And I'm like, types? And she's like, yes, types, Robert. I'm like, I don't know, little.
Yeah. Little green.
Like, oh God.
Wait, there's more than one kind? I always thought there was just one kind. They're just morning geckos.
Yeah. So then I'm like, you mean I have to open the cage and actually interact with them? And she's like, yes. So I figure out how to like funnel them through the little crack in the glass. So whenever I open, they like all run through here, and I just kind of boop them into the cup as I go. And so I wound up getting them. She was like, oh my God, you've got like 3 different types, all breeding in one place. She's like, this isn't supposed to happen. And I was like, if you don't identify and judge them by color, then they all get along. I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, they don't see color or pattern, so we're good. That's how you do it. You don't racially profile your morning geckos, and they'll all get along.
They're all just geckos trying to make it in the word, man.
That's it. It's a hard life, just trying to get some Pangea and D3.
Or maybe because they're parthenogenetic for a reason. They are trying to segregate. Like we don't want to intermix with all y'all. We're just going to reproduce with ourselves.
See, that more speaks to like the women power thing. Like we don't need men. I
I'm a
think
strong, independent woman.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I always tell people they're like, well, how come you need two of them to really get the parthenogenesis going if they'll just reproduce by themselves? And I was like, and this is just my theory. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Please do. I think that's what this podcast may be about. Because that's my wife will tell you that is my saving grace is that I am always willing to grow. I am not stuck to who I am, who I was. Because now I like to do this for people. Now just past, and now we're in the future, but the future just left. So we are forever in this cycle of becoming a new opportunity, a new person. So anyway, that's my saving grace, she says. But that being said, what I tell customers with them is like, you have this female gecko and she runs into another female and she's like, hey girl, I guess this is a safe place to be. Let's make some babies. And then they just start producing and everything's good.
Why don't you talk like that?
I don't know. That's just sassy, morning geckos. I don't know. They're all lesbian.
They're sassy,
So
they're
I don't
sassy
know.
lesbians?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I did catch some scissoring one time. It was interesting.
Cut that out.
Okay,
Let's see
sorry.
your
Can we
scissors.
cut that out, Stacy? That is
that
family oriented. Kids go to bed.
Reptiles after dark.
Yes, we're making decisions now.
Well,
I mean,
we started off the show with the gangbang, and now we're on scissoring.
That was a Mick gangbang, Brady.
we're just going full circle in here.
Yeah, yeah. So as far as carpets, I am absolutely. When people ask me what's my favorite species of carpet, I can only say my least favorite species, and it's just because they can get bigger. They have the potential to be the largest, and it's the coastals. There's a lot of cool stuff in coastals, but an animal that more times than not will get 6.5 to 8 foot. And then another thing is feeding, right? So that's something that the hobby, and maybe y'all can help me with my education because I always want to hear other people's opinion. But what I've found with my collection and my animals, and by the way, giving people this advice, as long as they stick to the way that I do it, I give a 40-year life guarantee on my carpets. So
That's a pretty big guarantee.
I don't think anyone else in the industry does that. That's as long as I can imagine carpet living. So I was like, I'm going to guarantee it for all that. Once you've joined the family, you're not getting out. So anyway, feeding for an adult. So once they get to this size, which she's comfortable.
So comfortable.
Yeah. So once they get to this size, we switch to feeding every 3. I'll just say it like this: we feed them 9 to 12 times a year. Once they've reached this size, it's going to be a larger meal, and then from that, we've gotten animals that are strong. We have a lot of time to work on personality, and just making sure that they're not. I've just heard more and more problems and tumors and cancer with people who are feeding their adult carpets every week. Like,
yeah.
Shed light on that, please, Mickey.
I think that's with every animal. Like, I have stores, I sell feeders, and sometimes when I'm in there working a store, I'll run into the ball python keeper that's feeding a medium rat to their snake every week. And
which is great for the store sales.
Right. Well, that I don't care about that. Like,
Sure.
So it's like, listen, man, like you could feed this thing a small rat every other week or every 2 weeks or whatever. You don't have to feed it every week. Like, because I don't know. I feel like we overfeed our animals.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, when you think about it, you have snakes who are ambush predators. So typically in the wild, they are not always eating for maybe weeks or months. And so when you're feeding them on a regular basis like that and overfeeding them to a degree, you're forcing their entire system to go to an unnatural level of growth and digestion and metabolism. And every time you're, increasing that, the more metabolism they're going through, the more metabolic process they're going through. That's more
It
cellular
shortens the
division.
lifespan.
When you get cellular division, the more times you have that going on in the body, especially at an accelerated rate, you run more chances of things like tumors and cancer, because that's when those errors seem to
But
happen is during all that cellular division.
but Scott, Mr. Snakey's hungry. Look at him. He's in a striking pose. He wants to eat. He's in a box all day, and he just needs a happy meal, right? Isn't that the thought process?
That is. And that's when you got to remember it's a snake, not a person.
See, I also feel
But
like,
just
for
because we
me,
can eat doesn't mean we should, right? You've
Correct.
seen
right?
me eat. Probably shouldn't eat that much, but I do it
Probably should,
rarely.
probably shouldn't eat a McGangbang ever.
That's only on the road, though. You can't. You don't do
I
that at
wouldn't
home.
want to do that on the road. Could you imagine being in the middle of Illinois or a state like that where there's not a bathroom for 2 hours and you just polished off him a gangbang?
Oh,
You
dude,
know you're gonna have to shit your pants.
there's
Oh,
a bathroom.
I wouldn't want to
There's a,
drive. I have to take a
every
nap.
post is a bathroom.
Yeah, there's always a bathroom.
Yeah.
You gotta keep those
I,
wet wipes on you.
yeah, I would not be driving. I'd be sleeping. That would shut my whole system down.
Arteries clogged. You
Yeah.
you would go into
Heart,
brumation.
yeah. Heart rate would slow. Metabolism would slow down. I'd be unconscious.
Anybody listening, don't eat that. Don't eat that. That's not a meal that one should.
Or after you told them about the meal.
Yeah, yeah. If they're well, if they listen to the entire podcast, then they deserve to live.
Darwinism.
Hey guys, we're gonna have to cut this off because we have a coordinator meeting. We're doing a coordinator training tonight, and we are 7 minutes late.
Okay.
After
We
dark.
went full circle. We got all the way back around to the
To the
McGangbang
McGangbang.
again. So,
Yeah.
So
guys,
I,
it's been a
I,
pleasure. We really did enjoy talking to you. We'll definitely have
Good
to get
meeting
you
you,
back
Robert.
on another
You too,
time.
bud.
I'm gonna throw one last little bit in here because I wanted to hit on it. Going back to self-regulation, all that stuff. The main thing that we are as part of the reptile hobby is educators, educating the general public. The more we can interact and educate more people, the less regulation is going to come down on us because more people are going to understand these animals and not fear them. And people are always going to fear what they don't understand. So if we can cross that bridge, and that's what I love about you at Moss Family is you guys are freaking fantastic at bringing people over your table, getting a snake in their hands. Even the mom that's freaking out, screaming in the corner in the first 20 minutes. You got her 3-year-old over there holding the carpet python, and she comes over and she engages. You remind the kids, hey, don't pick a snake up outside. Don't pick up
Yeah,
outside snakes without your parent. This is a pet
yeah.
snake. This
You
is
heard me
okay.
say. Yeah,
I have. That's exactly why I'm repeating. 'Cause you guys are fantastic at it, and that's why you guys do so well, and that's why I love having you guys at our shows.
man. Thank you,
Thank you.
thank you, thank you,
Thank you
Mickey.
guys so much. We really appreciate you being on.
Thank you guys.
Thank
Thank y'all. Peace.
All right, have a good night, guys.
Bye.
Bye.